there appears to be a very deep and dysfunctional mother-daughter relationship dynamic operating in the background, which seems to be the driving force behind Dahlia's sinister motivations. On a psychological level, Dahlia treats her own daughter merely as an object of her own selfish quest for power and control. I often think of black magic practitioners in a similar way. Individuals consumed entirely with their own needs and manipulations in order to get what they want from other people. Dahlia is only capable of such abhorrent treatment of Alessa by means of this narcissistic enmeshment she has with her daughter. This term refers to a rather conflicted state where a mother simultaneously wishes to absorb yet denigrate the youthful feminine spirit of her daughter, as she feels that her time of peak feminine power has long since passed. She is attempting to live vicariously through the feminine youth of her daughter while also harboring great resentment and blaming Alessa for this simple fact of life. Now, Harry returns to the alley where Alessa tried to show him what has happened to her. Of course, Harry does not understand, but this time he finds a note that reads, "To school," and is shown the location of Midwich Elementary on the map. Harry also finds Cheryl's sketchbook here so as to ensure that he will pursue this lead in hopes of finding his daughter. Remember, Harry's search for his daughter is merely the cover story for the escape of Alessa's spirit, away from the eclipse of Dahlia's dark motivations, which are attempting to gain control in a struggle which Harry does not understand but remains an integral part of. In order to open the path to Midwich, Harry must collect the 3 keys of Eclipse. Each key represents one of the specific threefold aspects of humanity as indicated in the allegory from the book The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, published in the year 1900. In the story, the Tin Woodman cuts off a dog's head, hence it being next to the key of Woodman, although the Tin Woodman in the story is looking for his heart. The key of Scarecrow is found by crossing over a large gap which has a wood plank over it. In the story of The Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow comes up with an idea to chop down a tree in order to cross a valley. Of course, the Scarecrow represents the quest for a brain, and this is the cover story used in The Wizard of Oz. However, this infers the liberation from the trappings of the mind, or mastery over one's own intellect. And Harry finds the key of Lion in the trunk of a police cruiser. The connection between police and courage is fairly evident here. In The Wizard of Oz, the lion is on a quest for courage. And while the root word for courage in Latin is cor, which refers to the heart, courage is the link between the heart and the mind. Or in other words, it refers to a certain inner quality of mind to meet danger in the face of fear. And of course, this is what Harry must do throughout the entire ordeal. But in order to do this, one must possess the will to do so, which means an eclipse or alignment of these 3 factors, or the 3 keys of Eclipse, must take place within himself. This is the part of the game that is the introduction for the initiate. Okay, and this is all allegory, at least the very first part of the game where Harry must enter into Midwich. With alchemy, the very fundamental structure of our physical reality consists of three parts unified as one. These three parts, known as the Tria Prima, exist in physical form as sulfur, mercury, and salt. The Tria Prima refers to the realms of both the physical and metaphysical. Sulfur corresponds with the highest realm of soul, the Holy Spirit, and the divine spark. Mercury corresponds with the mind, which is the middle ground or the messenger between the supernal realm and the physical world. And finally, salt, which corresponds with the body. All three of these substances are immortal in their essential distillations. These substances work in conjunction with each other, and they constitute the entire world. Each character Dorothy meets in The Wizard of Oz represents one of the three fundamental aspects of humanity, which is a reflection of the Tria Prima. The three keys for Eclipse in Silent Hill serve as an initiation from Alessa to Harry Mason, as he must be pure in his soul, mind, and body, just as the alchemist must be in order to perform the great work. It is no coincidence that Dorothy and her friends in The Wizard of Oz are trying to reach the Emerald City, which just happens to be at the end of the Golden Brick Road. The significance of a solar eclipse, which occurs several times in Silent Hill, is that the conscious intellect of Harry Mason has been overridden by the unconscious. In other words, Alessa has set certain events into motion which Harry is part of for reasons which he does not fully understand, but must do anyway. Harry believes he is searching for Cheryl, but of course, this is merely the cover story for the unconscious liberation of Alessa's spirit. The eclipse occurs again after Harry unlocks the door with the keys for Eclipse. Surprise, surprise. This passes him into the initiation stage. Harry is now steeped in the unconscious of Alessa. He turns on his flashlight, symbolizing the light of the intellect, in order to navigate this strange world. Alessa is ready to show Harry more about what has happened to her by clearing the path to Midwich Elementary School.